Hey, Dragon Slaves. It's been about 3 hours since my last meal. My blood sugar is clocking in at 72. So, my last meal was a little bit of pork shoulder, I believe. It was slow cooked all day. And then I had a small salad with maybe a fourth of a cup, maybe even a fifth of a cup of nuts. Not that very many, like 2 teaspoons of nuts. Had a little bit of cheese, probably about a teaspoon or so of cheese, romaine lettuce, cucumber, let's see here, red onions. So just the salad and the pork. So today's video is all about intermittent fasting tips and tricks. So this is how to intermittent fast according to Dr. Ted Naiman. There are a number of ways to actually perform intermittent fasting, but the easiest and most popular variety involves taking advantage of your natural overnight fast by skipping breakfast and pushing your first meal of the day forward a number of hours. That's what I do. Once you have passed the 12-hour mark from dinner the night before, you are truly in a fasted state and you begin to rely on stored body fat for fuel. The longer you stay in the fasted state, the more metabolic practice you will get at burning stored body fat and the deeper your fat adaptation will get. In fact, if you can maintain this intermittent fast for 20 to 24 hours, you will achieve a very high rate of lipolysis, which is the breakdown of stored body fat into free fatty acids available for burning in the cells, and fat oxidation, which is the burning of fat in the mitochondria. When you first start out with intermittent fasting, you can have quite a bit of hunger and low energy and other symptoms. In this case, he recommends starting out with baby steps by just pushing breakfast out an hour or two at first, then slowly increasing the fasting interval. As time goes by and you become more fat adapted, it is easier and easier to fast. This is identical to exercise in those who are sedentary. It is painful and extremely difficult at first, and then once you're adapted, it gets easy and even somewhat enjoyable. Low carbohydrate diets make it much easier to fast if you're already on one, as these diets naturally lead to quite a bit of fat adaptation and are naturally lower in the secretion of insulin, as well as in the utilization of glucose as a fuel. In fact, we highly recommend the combination of a very low carbohydrate, as close to zero carbs as possible, diet with intermittent fasting. The closer you get to a ketogenic diet, extremely low in carbohydrates, the easier it is for you to go hours and hours without eating, thanks to the fat adaptation that these diets lead to. For those who do incorporate carbohydrates into the diet, he recommends that these contain a lot of fiber, which is indigestible and does not contribute to the elevation of glucose or insulin. And if you decide to eat digestible carbohydrates, he recommends that you consider avoiding these early in the day, as this might sabotage the fat adaptation process, as well as setting you up for blood, sugar, and hunger roller coasters for the rest of the day. Instead, he recommends eating digestible or non-fiber carbohydrates in the evening, and ideally only after either intermittent fasting to deplete liver glycogen and or exercising with a high intensity to deplete muscle glycogen. Eating digestible carbohydrates when your muscles and liver glycogen are already full is more likely to lead to fat storage and worsening insulin sensitivity, the exact opposite of what you're looking for. Intermittent fasting protocols, some of these include, and several popular ways to accomplish this intermittent fasting diet. Well, it's not really a diet, it's an eating protocol. He's going to discuss the 3 most popular varieties. All of those involve lengthen the overnight fast by skipping breakfast and postponing the first meal of the day. All of these also involve eating no calories at the beginning of the day and keeping the majority of your calories very late in the day, a concept called caloric reverse taper, which I covered previously briefly. So keep in mind that for the purpose of these discussions, we will consider the baseline standard diet to involve 12 hours of fasting, overnight fasting, plus 12 hours of eating window during the day, consisting of 3 meals: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The sad reality, however, is that most people are actually eating first thing in the morning until late at night with lots of snacks. So the eating window of the average American is actually close to 16 hours. That's what I've got for you guys today. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and you can support me on Patreon. And remember that together, you and I will slay the dreaded diabetes dragon.